We all know that losing fat can feel overwhelming at times, especially if you're juggling a busy work schedule, family responsibilities, and everything else that life throws your way. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be. Today, I'm going to talk you through the exact steps to start losing fat, step by step, even if you're really busy. I'm Lewis. I'm a personal trainer with nearly a decade of experience helping over 1,000 clients, many of whom are busy professionals just like you, who want to get in the best shape of their lives without wasting time or following overly restrictive diets. Stick around until the end because I'll share a free quiz that'll help you assess exactly where you are and what you need to focus on to reach your goals. So let me tell you about one of my clients, Dan. He was a busy project manager working 10-hour days, and between meetings, deadlines and family, he didn't think he had time to get in shape. Dan thought that losing fat meant spending hours in the gym or giving up all his favourite foods. He was trying every single fad diet under the sun, couldn't make any progress. We ended up simplifying everything, focused on the essentials, and in just 12 weeks, he was down 8 kg, feeling more energized, and had a routine that fits seamlessly into his busy schedule. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what we did step by step. So step 1, test your maintenance calories, the key to starting right. Before we dive into cutting calories, you need to know how many calories you burn each day. Most people skip this step, but trust me, it is absolutely crucial. Estimating your maintenance calories gives you the foundation to understand how much food your body needs to maintain its weight. How would you do this, you may ask? You can use an online calorie calculator to get an estimate. It'll ask for your age, your weight, your height, and activity level. But remember, this is just an estimate. To get a more accurate idea, spend the next 7 to 10 days tracking your food intake while weighing yourself each morning. This is what I do with most of my clients. Track everything you eat using a free app like MyFitnessPal or Macros First. If your weight stays steady, you've most likely found your maintenance calories. If your weight fluctuates a bit, that's normal of course. Look at the trend over the week to get a clearer picture. So for example, if you're eating 2,500 calories a day and your weight stays roughly the same over 10 days, you've found your baseline. This is critical because it'll show you how many calories you need to maintain your weight, and then from there, we can start cutting effectively. In other words, creating a calorie deficit, which is step 2. So step 2, creating that moderate calorie deficit. Once you've figured out your maintenance calories, the next step is to create the moderate deficit. Don't starve yourself. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. They cut too many calories too fast. In other words, they create too big of a deficit too soon. And before they know it, they're binging and giving up. Instead, aim to cut 10 to 20% of your maintenance calories. So if your maintenance is 2,500 calories, start by cutting around 250 to 500 calories per day. This small reduction is enough to trigger fat loss without leaving you feeling constantly hungry. So here's a practical example. Dan was eating somewhere around 2,700 calories a day, so we cut him down to 2,200 give or take. He still had enough energy to get through his work days without feeling drained, but he was in a calorie deficit, which allowed his body to start burning fat. Step 3 is track your progress, not just the scale. Now that you've adjusted your calories, it's time to track your progress, but not just by stepping on the scale. Don't get me wrong, this is great, but fat loss isn't linear, and the number on the scale can be misleading at times, especially if you're also strength training, which of course I do highly recommend. Take progress photos every 2 weeks. This is something which I recommend to a lot of my clients. This gives you a visual reference that you can compare over time. Measurements are also useful, especially around your waist, chest and hips. And going back to my client's story, Dan, his weight didn't always drop significantly on a weekly basis, but by tracking photos and measurements, he could see his body transforming. And don't forget to track your energy levels and mood as well. Those are just as important as numbers. If your energy is stable and you're feeling good, that's a great indicator you're on the right path. Step 4, strength training over cardio. One of the biggest misconceptions is that you need to do endless cardio to lose fat. While cardio has its place, of course, strength training is much more effective, especially for busy professionals, unless you are wanting to enter some type of endurance event. Why? Because it builds muscle, and more muscle means you burn more calories even when you're not working out too. Plus, strength training helps you achieve that lean, athletic look, which most people are after, and you probably are too. So how often should you train? Aim for 3 full body strength sessions a week, 30 to 45 minutes. Focus on compound movements like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. Exercises that hit multiple muscle groups at once. Of course, there's always time for those arm days too. Each workout should take no more than 45 minutes, and trust me, that's more than enough to see results if you are consistent. So here's what Dan's routine looked like. Monday, full body workout focusing on squats, bench presses, and rows with a few arm exercises in there. Wednesday, full body workout focused on deadlifts, lunges, and overhead presses, again with a full leg accessory movements in there. Friday, full body workout with a mix of squats, pull-ups, and dips, again with 1 or 2 more upper body exercises thrown in there for good measure. That's it. 3 days a week, 45 minutes per session, give or take. Some days it was actually only 30, and there's no need to overcomplicate things. Step 5, incorporate daily walking. Low impact cardio. As I've said in other videos, walking is one of the most underrated tools for fat loss. It's low impact, easy to fit into your day, and doesn't leave you feeling exhausted. Aim for at least 8 to 10k steps a day. You'll be surprised at how much that simple habit helps with fat loss over time. Dan started walking 20 minutes during his lunch break and taking phone calls while walking. He ended up hitting his daily step goal without even realizing it. Step 6, adjust as needed. After 2 weeks, check in with your progress. If you're losing 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week, great. Keep doing what you're doing. If progress stalls a little bit, you have 2 options essentially. Reduce calories slightly or increase your activity. This doesn't mean you need to overhaul your routine every time the scale doesn't budge for a few days. Just give it time. Adjusting by reducing 100 to 200 calories or adding a little extra walking will often be enough to kickstart fat loss again. But again, everyone's different. You need to see what works best for you. But Dan, after the first month, we only had to make minor tweaks. Cutting give or take 100 calories and adding 10 minutes of walking was enough to keep the fat loss consistent. And here's a practical example of what a week might look like for you. Monday, full body strength training, 45 minutes and a 20-minute walk. Tuesday, 10k steps, walk during meetings. Wednesday, full body strength training, 45 minutes and 20 to 30 minutes of walking. Thursday, 10k steps, maybe an extra 10-minute stretch. Friday, full body strength training, again 30 to 45 minutes, 10-minute walk after lunch, and a few other walks throughout the day if you can. Saturday, active rest, light activity like going for a hike or playing with the kids, whatever it may be where you are moving. Sunday is a rest day or again, low intensity activity. Again, aiming for 8 to 10k steps. Fat loss doesn't have to be complicated. Start with the basics, find your maintenance calories, create a small deficit, strength train 3 times a week, and incorporate daily walking. Adjust as needed and be patient. In other words, the results will come. If you're ready to take your fat loss to the next level, click the link below to take my free health and body performance quiz. It'll give you a personalized plan based on where you are now and help you figure out exactly what to focus on. And before you go, this video over here somewhere will absolutely help you move in the right direction. It's packed with more tips to keep your fat loss simple and effective, even with the busiest schedule. See you there.